What, where, when, why?
Whoa, steady on. Don't you ever wonder where all these people are going and why the whole world seems to be in such a rush? See, it's my day off today. I don't have anything to do except wander around the town asking questions. What are all these people doing? The shoppers, policeman, dustman, builder, the school children. I bet you're thinking it's obvious. They're all going to work. Ah, that's the point. It's so obvious we don't give it a thought. Oops. Hello, there's someone late for the office, I see. I've always been the sort of bloke who asks questions, like, have people in our town always worked? Have they always rushed around like we do? Have they always done the same sort of jobs? And a voice in my head always says, read your history books, Tony Robinson, and you'll find out. Well, I have. I've read about this town and I've wondered about its people, and I've wondered and I've wondered and I've read. So now I can see and smell the past everywhere I go. One look at an old building and I'm back there watching them build it. One glance at a tree and I can see it being planted. It's brilliant. Everything I look at comes alive. I might be sitting still, but my mind can walk through time. I am a time traveller. Hey, why don't you join me? Put on your trainers and get ready for the longest walk of your life. We're going to answer all those questions. We're going to walk through time. Imagine a time long, long ago. Then a bit longer, then a bit longer still. When I say long ago, I mean a length of time that makes your mind ache trying to imagine it. We're here. We're at the beginning of our walk. Same place, look, it's the same river. But almost 2,000 years before we were born. The year is 90 AD. This is the time of the great Roman Empire. The Romans have conquered Britain and its people and built this magnificent town made of stone. That must have taken a bit of work. It's so busy and noisy here. Seems like the people of the Roman world were in a rush too. That businessman looks as if he's late for the office. Now, can anyone spot a policeman? I doubt it. This is the year 90 AD and the job doesn't exist. Look out! Charming. They don't have dustmen either. No wonder it smells here. But look, they've still got shops and people selling and bartering in the street. A metal worker? A potter? And there's a tavern if you want a drink or a takeaway snack. A baker, a cloth seller, a stonemason. And everything they sell is made by hand. Did you catch that? By hand. So work for them is 10 times harder. Those poor men are slaves and they do the really hard work around here. I wonder who they're carrying. It's a boy. What's that he's got? Where's he off to then in such posh style? Any ideas? Well, he's being carried to school. I bet you're pleased to know that Roman children had to do schoolwork. But have you noticed there are only boys in there, and only rich boys?
Rub your tablets clean and I'll give you some more in a
The
moment.
poorer children are at home. Don't think that means less work, though, far from it. Outside the town, in the village, lived the Britons. They were here before the Romans arrived and conquered their land. Now, if you think school's hard, how do you fancy 12 hours a day of grinding your corn, making your own shoes, spinning your wool, and even building your own home, all by hand? So these people do work, and they work hard. They do everything by hand. How would you fancy working from dawn till dusk every day, every week, every year, all your life? I think I'd rather be a rich Roman, wouldn't you? It's time for us to do a bit of work. How fast can you walk? Because this time, you've got to walk forward 1,000 years. Look closely. All that was new is old, all that was now is then. Some things last and some things vanish. Can you see them? Is there anything that has lasted from Roman times? Is there anything that we've never seen before? We're here. Same place, same river, but now it's almost 1,000 years later than the time of the Romans. The year is 920 AD, the time of the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings. The Roman towns disappeared, but if you were to dig beneath the earth, with a bit of luck, you might find a cup from that Roman tavern. Is there anyone on the way to the office? No, things have changed. There aren't any offices. Nothing's changed there, though. That poor man's a slave. Watch out! Not again. I don't think the dustman comes. There are still no dustmen. Buying, selling and bartering are still going on, though. There's a stonemason again, a butcher's and a leather worker. A jeweller, a cloth seller and a bone carver. And everything they sell is still made by hand. Why isn't that boy at school? Well, that's simple. There aren't any, at least for the likes of him. What do these children do all day, then? It's 1,000 years since we met the Roman Britain farmers, and nothing's really changed. For 12 hours a day, these people still have to feed the animals, grind the corn, make their own shoes, spin the wool, and build their own home. All by hand. I think I'd rather go to school, wouldn't you? Now, these two are monks. And they live in the monastery outside the town, where they work and pray to God. They spend hours copying the Bible by hand. That's the only way for people to have books. And if it takes a day to copy a page, how long do you think it takes to copy out the whole Bible? Years, probably. Work, work, work from dawn till dusk. For most people, life's hard. We can buy our woolly socks from a shop ready-made. Here, woolly socks run round in a field and go bar. And if you think these people could go to a sports shop and get some new trainers, forget it. Shoes aren't something you buy, they're something you make. Time to walk on. It's not quite so far this time, so don't rush. We only have to fast forward 600 years. Look closely. All that was new is old, all that was now is then. Some things last, and some things vanish. Can you see them? Is there anything that has lasted from Anglo-Saxon and Viking times? Is there anything that we've never seen before? We're here. We're in the Tudor period. Same place, same river, but it's over 600 years since we popped in on the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings. We're in the 1590s AD. You can't see where the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings were living anymore, but they were here. If you were to dig underneath the earth, you might find a cup that one of those Vikings drank out of. Noisy lot, aren't they? Anyone spot a policeman? Ah, the Tudors have businessmen. That one will be late for the office if he doesn't stop chatting. Watch out! Still no sign of a dustman, and phew, this place stinks. Look, there's a butcher again, and a cloth seller, and a printer. He's new. No more copying by hand. These people are printing books, and in an hour they can turn out over 120 pages. Tell that to the Anglo-Saxon monk. And now there's a tavern again. Remember, the Romans had one. And there's still a leather worker. But here's a new job, the apothecary, a posh word for a chemist. With help from his assistant, he uses mostly herbs to make medicine. And like most other things we've seen, the medicine's made by hand. Who's this? What's he carrying? Where's he off to? Any ideas? To school. Look, still only boys, and you've guessed it, only if you're rich. Where do you think the poorer children are? Do you think life's changed for them in the last 600 years? Nope. Outside the town on the farm, they still get up at the crack of dawn to sort the grain, feed the animals, sow the seed, spin the wool, make their own furniture, and all by hand. Well, things are looking up. There's no more copying books by hand. But for the majority, it's business as usual. Work, work, work. If you want furniture, you have to make it. If your shoes wear out, then new ones have to be made. And if you want woolly socks, you still have to catch that sheep. But it's time to walk on. Just a stroll after the journey we've made. We only have to fast forward 300 years. Look closely. All that was new is old. All that was now is then. Some things last and some things vanish. Can you see them? Is there anything that's lasted from Tudor times? Is there anything that we've never seen before? We're here. We're in the Victorian period. Same place, same river, but now it's over 300 years later than the Tudor time. We're in the 1890s AD. Busy, isn't it? And noisy. Oh, someone's late for the office, I see. Look, a policeman and a dustman. Good morning, sirs. We've waited a long time for both of you. And buying and selling still going on? If you want to buy food, there's now a grocer's and there's still a printer's. But look, a sweet shop. Sugar's cheaper now. And there's still an apothecary and a bank. That's new. That means there's more money now. And there's a shop selling cloth again. It's called a draper's. But now cloth isn't made by hand. Did you catch that? No longer made by hand. The Victorians have machines to do the job. Come on, you two, you'll be late for school. Wait a moment, wasn't that a girl? So the Victorians still have schools, but now it's for girls as well as boys, rich and poor. But only until you're 12 years old, though. Then what happens? Well, that depends on whether you're rich or poor. If you're poor, you might end up here.
Oh, you've come, have you? And about time. I've been waiting for you this half hour since. Now.
The Victorians aren't allowed to make people slaves. Hooray! Instead, they have servants and hard workers like these young girls who work in this cotton mill.
You work but 13 hours a day from 6 in the morning till 7 at night. And you have a fine uniform. Look after it!
Actually, the Victorians do have slaves, but they're not people, they're machines, the new super slaves. They're faster than people, and you don't have to feed them, talk to them, or let them rest. Remember everyone making things by hand? That's changing. Things are now being made in factories by machines. By the way, who runs the machines? The poor workers. So what's changed for the poor? Nothing, really. Work, work, work. Well, it's time we're getting on. Tie up your shoelaces. We're going to fast forward 60 years into the future. 60 years, is that all? That's a doddle for us. But you wait till you see the change. Look closely. All that was new is old. All that was now is then. Some things last and some things vanish. Can you see them? Is there anything that has lasted from the Tudor times or the Victorian times? Is there anything we've never seen before? We're here. Same place, same river, but 60 years later than Victorian times. We're in the 1950s AD. Can you work out how long ago that was? This is a very interesting period of history. Why? Because to your grandparents, it's not history. It's the time they grew up in. And when the people in this street talk of work, it's something the people we visited would hardly recognise. Now, lots of women go out to work. That's a big change. Come on, you'll be late for the office. That bus conductor's on his way to his bus. Now there are more roads and many more cars and buses. And nothing's changed there. The dustman's still around, but he and all these people now get holidays and work less hours for more money than ever before. Tell that to an Anglo-Saxon. And another thing, most of that food she's going to buy comes from a factory and it's self-service straight off the shelf. We've had the printer since Tudor times, but now those newspapers that man's selling are printed by the million overnight. And we've seen a factory in Victorian times, but now a clothes factory's making more of these people's clothes in a day than their ancestors ever made in a lifetime. So what's it all about? Machines, machines, machines. That's what's really changed work now. The Victorians had them, but not like these ones. These are the new slaves of the future, and for the first time, they're in people's homes. Working by hand's becoming a thing of the past. From now on, it's work, 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 and much more time to play. What would everyone we've seen so far think of that? I think you can guess. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel a bit homesick. I've almost forgotten what it looks like in our own time. It's only a short walk ahead now as we move forward about 50 years into the future. Grab those shoes, we're going home. Look closely. All that was new is old, all that was now is then. Some things last and some things vanish. Can you see them? Is there anything that's lasted from the 1950s? Is there anything that we've never seen before? We're here. We're home. We're at the beginning of the 21st century, nearly 50 years later. Oh, it's good to be home. Well, I can't stay here all day. But as I was asking, have the people in this town always rushed around? Well, the answer's yes, they have. There's always been work. And don't forget, those farmers are still getting up early and milking and sowing and ploughing. I wonder what kind of work people of the future will do. I wonder. All kinds of new jobs will be created, I imagine. No, maybe there won't be any jobs at all, that's it. Robots will do everything, the perfect slaves of the future. And what about school? Probably won't need it by then.